Welcome back. President Cyril Ramaphosa has met with his Tanzanian counterpart, President John Magufuli, in Dar es Salaam. It's President Ramaphosa's first state visit to that country. The two leaders discussed trade and political relations between the two countries. They also touched on political and economic developments in the SADC region. That's ahead of the Heads of State Summit meeting. SABC correspondent Daniel Kijo joins us from Tanzania now. Daniel, good evening to you. What is being discussed by the two presidents?
Good evening, Steve. Indeed, this is a historic event for South Africa and Tanzanian relations. President Ramaphosa and President Magufuli had deep talks to sort of foster and boost the relationship that started many years ago. They touched on many things, including improving the balance of trade between these two countries. As it stands, there are about 228 South African companies operating in Tanzania, employing about 21,000 people. So Magufuli showed appreciation to the South African president, saying that now they are hoping that with this visit, this number will increase, but also looking to have more Tanzanian investors in South Africa as well. We know South Africa is the second largest economy on the continent, and it is also one of the biggest importer or purchaser of Tanzanian products. So Magufuli was very eager to sort of explain to President Ramaphosa the different changes that he has done during his tenure as president to ensure that the ease of doing business in Tanzania is increased, like tax adjustments, improving infrastructure development, issues like roads and bridges, the huge energy project in the Rufiji River, etc. So there are many areas of collaboration that these two presidents touched on. One of them, another key one, is tourism, because on the continent, South Africans are the #1 African tourists to Tanzania. So the president opened its doors to increasing the number of tourists who would come to Tanzania. He also said that, Air Tanzania now flies to South Africa 4 times a week, and then also asked President Ramaphosa for our hospitality professionals to learn from the South African hospitality professionals, because annually South Africa has receives about 10 million guests, while Tanzania receives 1.5 million visitors or tourists per year. So there are many areas of collaboration, but these are some of the few that I can brief you on.
It's quite a big list of subjects that they've been discussing. There's the state visit. There's also the SADC meeting over the weekend. What's on the agenda for that meeting?
The SADC overall, the SADC meeting is aimed at sort of discussing the SADC strategy, or industrialization strategy, that the community had agreed on in 2017. The main theme for this year is creating a conducive environment for industrialization, for sustainable industrialization that would lead to growth for the member countries as well as job creation. So we're going to expect that leaders, the South African president, Tanzania, and also other leaders who will be at the meeting to discuss policies that would allow the members of the SADC community to collaborate in a way that will allow them to grow their economies and to grow their industries in a way that would facilitate growth for all the members in the community. Also to improve intra-regional trade between the member states. This is a key sector that I feel that most people feel will be a hot agenda for this coming weekend.
All right, so generally a big focus on the economy. I mean, the relationship between Tanzania and South Africa is obviously seen as pretty good. There's a strong relationship, of course, between the governing African National Congress, our ANC, and Tanzania. All of that, I imagine, helps that particular history and what Tanzania did for the ANC during the liberation struggle.
Yes, very true, Steve. In fact, tomorrow, President Ramaphosa is going to go to Morogoro at a college where some of the liberation fighters, including former President President Mandela, who was trained in Morogoro, and some of the liberation tactics and strategies were done in Morogoro. So the president is expected to go there tomorrow to see firsthand the center of which some of the participation of these activities were done between some of the Tanzanian fighters as well as the South Africans back in the day. So yes, indeed, the relationship is a long one and a very good one.
There's been that horrific accident in Tanzania the last few days involving an oil tanker. I think it's up to 70 people who died. Our president sending his condolences. That's been a huge story there, a terrible tragedy.
Yes, it has. And again, like I said, unfortunately, or should I say fortunately, where the president is going tomorrow, President Ramaphosa, is the scene of where the oil tanker exploded, killing over 70 people. So he's also expected to pass by the site and, issue his condolences to the people and see firsthand the devastation and what the devastation that this terrible accident caused. So it is going to be a trip that is certainly going to be appreciated by the Tanzanian people, and I'm sure the president himself.
That's the SABC correspondent Daniel Kijo. Daniel, for your time tonight in Dar es Salaam. Thanks very much indeed.